During the probate proceeding, beneficiaries have lots of rights that they are entitled to. It is important as the executor or personal representative who is in charge of putting the estate through probate that they give the beneficiaries proper notice, right? So they need to understand what's going on in the probate proceeding. Is there a will? What does the petition look like? All of this should be mailed to the beneficiary. It's also important for the personal representative to ensure that the beneficiary is getting updates as to what is going on. Is the home being sold? What accounts are there? They should get an accounting. If there are any issues relating to assets, the beneficiaries should be notified as to what is going on throughout the entire proceeding. Beneficiaries should ensure they receive their inheritance promptly by understanding that probate does take a long time. And so a probate proceeding in California can take anywhere from 1 to 2 years, 3 in some counties where we see that it's very backed up. And so just ensuring that things are moving along as they should, according to the court's timeline, is important. But it's important that once that first and final petition is heard and it is granted, that is when the actual inheritance would be received. And so it would take some time after that last hearing for the beneficiary to inherit. So keep that in mind. If you have somebody that has passed away and you are receiving from them, it is not something that is instant if it has to go through probate. It's generally going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take the court approving you actually receiving that inheritance. So a question we often get is, can a beneficiary contest the actions of an executor or personal representative? And the answer is yes, they absolutely can. So if there is wrongdoing on the part of the person that is in charge of going through the probate proceeding, right, that personal representative or executor, if the beneficiary is not being treated fairly, or if the estate is not being completed in the way that it should through probate, the beneficiary has the right to bring an action against that personal representative or executor to have them either act in line with the rules that they should be following or to even have them removed. So a personal representative or executor has a fiduciary responsibility to try their best effort to try and locate an heir, whether it's doing an heir search, working with a personal or with a private investigator, doing searches on social media, asking family members. They have to put forth their best effort, and they actually have to file an affidavit with the court saying that they did all of this stuff to locate an heir. If an heir is unable to be located, depending on if they're going to be receiving money, then that money is going to be held for a time period for them to receive it, and it then may end up going to the state for them to then collect later on. Sometimes in a probate proceeding, we find that a beneficiary that should be receiving from a will has passed away. And oftentimes we will have language in a will that will say what should happen with their share. If there is no will, then it would pass according to that intestate law, where basically that's California's estate plan for you when you don't have one. And it's basically that family tree that says if a beneficiary is unable to receive because they've passed, then their share may then be distributed to their heirs in whatever share they would have received. So if you are the beneficiary in a probate proceeding, you've received paperwork, and maybe you don't agree with what's being done. Maybe you don't agree that the will is valid. Maybe there's some type of wrongdoing, or some type of influence that the person who signed the will before they passed was forced to sign, or they didn't have the capacity to actually sign it. You have the ability as the beneficiary to contest the will and to basically tell the court, these are the reasons that I do not think that the will is valid, and ask the court to make a determination on if the will should actually be then brought forward to be used through the probate, or if it should pass as if no will existed. So ensure that if something has happened, to seek legal counsel for help in how to prevent this from happening. If you are a beneficiary of a probate proceeding and you need help, please feel free to contact Hermance Law here so that we can guide you as to what rights you have and what you should expect throughout that probate proceeding.
Have you ever thought about what would happen to your house if something happened to you? What about your children? Do you have guardians nominated for your minor children? I would like to offer you a free phone consultation on estate planning. This is to make sure that you understand what estate planning actually is, what's involved in the process, how do we work for clients to make sure that they have legal plans in place to make sure that their assets are protected. Click the link to schedule your free consultation.